Well, good morning. It's been a couple of days. Yesterday was an eventful day in the morning and an uneventful day in the afternoon, if you don't count the storm. We had a big storm come through at about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, so there was no solo flights or tandem flights off the top of the hill, Mount Bora. And yesterday morning I probably did between 13 to 15 training runs off the lower slope, the training ground, and that was really rewarding actually. Painful because I'm a bit bruised around the groin where the leg loops run, because you need to run down the hill and you can't sit back in the seat, you need to sit forward in the seat, because you're really only sort of taking off and then 60 metres later landing again. Then you get into the basher and you go back up the top of the hill and you go again. It's actually a really good system. I think all up I've probably done 25, 26, 27 training runs, which teaches me how to take off and then gently input the feed that's needed, and then be able to land down the other end and flare at the right time. So the last 2 or 3 runs that I did, I inflated the wing, practically launched myself with some help from Godfrey, just sort of pointing left or right, whichever way I needed to put inputs in, and then run, fly, land, deflate. So today we had another big storm come through at 2 o'clock this morning. It was a window railer too. It just hit Newcastle at about 8, 9 o'clock this morning. And so today, in about 10 minutes or so, I'm at HQ at the moment, we're going to go inside and do some theory for about an hour. We did emergencies all yesterday afternoon, so looking at what happens when things go wrong and what you can do to correct them or avoid them in the first place. But if you can't avoid them, what you can do, things like getting stuck in trees or power lines, partial or full collapses, those sorts of things, which are rare, but better to know what to do when it does happen than when it does happen, have no idea at all. So it's a reality of the game. When you go out and play football, you don't expect to get hurt, but if you do get hurt, you want to know what to do and have people around you that know what to do when it happens. And then we're going to go out into the field out here and hopefully practice reverse launches, or how reverse launches work, which is basically instead of facing forwards, you're facing backwards towards the wing, and they're often used in, I think, higher winds. If you're launching when there's quite a lot of wind available, so like sort of coastal sites, or out here on a day when the wind's really, really strong perhaps. And then this afternoon, after lunch or maybe before lunch, doing a bit of tandem work. So you get to do one flight tandem down off the top of the mountain just to learn how to do what's called beats before we come down and land. And then lastly, I should be able to fit in hopefully 1 or 2 solo flights, which will be my first solo flight off the mountain. So look, thank you for tuning in and watching. I appreciate your support and feedback. Feel free to leave a comment down the bottom, unless of course you're one of my students. When I've told you to not do that, you can go to Canvas and leave feedback in Canvas. And I appreciate you checking in and seeing how things are going. After this, I'll throw in some training run video of us yesterday in the morning. I didn't get any footage of the storm. I probably should have, but we're too busy inside doing theory, and I didn't want to interrupt that. That was pretty important. All right, hope you're having a great day as well.
Yeah, well, I was running across the hill a bit. Going that way, so
And flat back all the way down. Very nice.
So this is on the training slope, and I've done about between 23 to 25 runs down this slope. It's a really good system because the 4-wheel drive picks you up down the bottom and
drops you back up the top, so you're absolutely not stuffed by the time you get up there. You're just hot. And this is all about learning to inflate, take off, direct yourself, and flare at the end to land, and try and get the glider to land the right way when you get down there, which I was having some trouble with. And a couple of other students as well, doing really, really well. It's a great cohort. And then in the afternoon we had this pretty big low pressure system come through as a trough, which unfortunately meant we got a great deal of rain, both at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and then again at 2 o'clock in the morning. The 2 o'clock in the morning one wasn't a big deal. Yesterday afternoon we did 3.5 hours of reverse launches, which means we have to pull the wing up like this and then spin around. And I found it quite challenging at first until the wing was changed for a better one. I had that purple wing on the right there. Then I swapped it out for a red and white wing and found it much easier with the easier wing. But still, it was hard work. 3.5 hours in the paddock pulling wings up and down and directing them. And to close with a nice bit of time lapse from the last bit of the day. A couple of guys coming in off the hill there. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying these series of videos, and I look forward to reading your comments. Please subscribe.